I'm just understanding that people are not realizing the impact of their words, what they're saying. They're not being accountable for how they think. They're just spitballing shit out of their mouth. So I see that my opposition, my Uranus opposition, and many of my generation, because we have to understand there's a lot of my generation that are going to be going through this data lesson, learning, thinking, communication, opposition that's going to drive people nuts. I'm just saying fuck it and responding to everything. I don't know if that's good for my generator self, but I'm responding to everything. I just want to let it all out. Just fuck it. I'm just gonna speak, and I don't even care. I'll deal with it. I can't even think. It's moving too fast. Uranus is too quick. My brother, I talked to him the other day, and then it's also crazy too, because my Sagittarius cousin, who I'm connecting back with after so many years, was like unloading and dishing his fucking emotions, moon in Sagittarius, at 4:00 in the fucking morning. But the only reason I think that he's even come, and this is just a side digression, but the only reason I think he's even come back into this while I'm dealing with this Uranus opposition is he's also changing the way he thinks. He was all like, I stopped watching TikToks, because he was on that side. He's like, I just stopped watching them because it was too much information. And I'm just hearing this opposition, Gemini, Sagittarius in this conversation. I'm just like, okay, this is what I'm dealing with. So my brother calls, my nephew's on the phone. He says, I say, how was school? He says, it was good, auntie. I was like, oh, that's good. My brother goes, was it? And I'm like, oh, was it not good? He's like, well, he left his hat and his jacket at school. I said, okay, brother, let me stop you right there. I don't think my nephew understands that having a good day at school also incorporates the rules of the house as well. To him, good day at school means I didn't get in trouble with my teacher. Yeah. I did my homework. I didn't get expelled. I had a good day at school. You have to tell, because basically what you just did is you called him a liar right here out in the open. Yeah. And he was all like, no, I didn't. I didn't say he was lying. And I said, brother, you're going to piss me off. Do you understand? Do you understand that if I say he had a good day at school and he says, yes, I did, and you say, did you, implies that he is falsifying some information or not giving me full disclosure, which is under the umbrella of lying. You just called your son a liar to me. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not even mad at you. I'm just understanding that people are not realizing the impact of their words, what they're saying. They're not being accountable for how they think. They're just spitballing shit out of their mouth. Like, I don't know if you saw the post I just made with Charleston White went on that podcast telling the men that he's like, the first step in the Black community is to apologize to the woman, regardless if you think you're wrong or not. Go back to your women, your baby mama, whatever, and apologize and just say, hey, look, I'm sorry.
What you think we need to do as a community to change that?
You need to go back and apologize to every woman you think you have hurt, whether you think you've done it or not. Apologize. That's why we can't get ahead, nigga. All I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say why I say this. I got two kids. I got two kids by one woman who I was married to. I ain't got bastard baby. So go apologize. Go apologize.
I ain't apologizing to shit.
So have you gone to jail on your kids? Have you gone to jail on your kids? No.
And this, what do you call them? McNigga.
This McNigga.
Lost his shit and was all like, fuck that. I ain't apologizing. That ain't about the bitch. What did he do? He said, I grew up in a house with my mama and my daddy. And I was all like, wow. All he said was to apologize. And you went and trauma dumped. So I made a post that said, fuck that. I had no mama, no daddy. The canned milk. Because that was exactly how he responded. And I'm like, you didn't even think about that. And then the way that you spoke was stupid and it's irritating. And I want a brain reset. To go through a brain reset. So I see that my opposition, my Uranus opposition, and many of my generation, because we have to understand there's a lot of my generation that are going to be going through this data lesson, learning, thinking, communication opposition is going to drive people nuts. I imagine that for that generation, you may start seeing, because I'm already doing it. I'm just saying fuck it and responding to everything. I don't know if that's good for my generator self, but I'm responding to everything. I just want to let it all out. Just fuck it. I'm just gonna speak, and I don't even care. I'll deal with it. I can't even think. It's moving too fast. Uranus is too quick.
Oh God! And then Mars will be in Gemini soon. While Uranus is in the Gemini, I just thought about that.
Thank you for your doomsday news for the.
Oops. So sad.
So yeah, so I can imagine that even that those of us that are going to be going through our crisis is going to have a lot to do with one of the biggest connections, which is having to communicate and having to speak and having to talk and having to learn and having to think. And some people are probably going to be driven crazy. Look at the AI psychosis. I think like that will be something very huge during this.
I absolutely almost cannot deal with some of what I see. I think it's because it's running rampant, but it's going in different ways. So there's also psychosis happening, for instance, of now people like you know how I do video comments?
Right.
Somebody was like, nice AI voice. First of all, you wanted to say my comment was AI.
Well, Jane, I appreciate that you thought that was a Chat GPT response, but here's a video response for you. For over a decade, I've been studying the work of Professor Sam Vaknin. I will actually link you to one of the first books of his you should read. Now, to your overall point, you said that all abusers are completely aware of what they're doing. That is just not correct. It isn't correct. I can point you to the work. Again, I can point you to the work. Can you point me to the work that you could cite to back up your claim? Please let me know.
Now my voice is AI, so I jumped on video looking a whole fucking mess because like,
oh my God,
and was like, so I'm fucking AI. I don't fucking exist. This isn't my voice. I didn't go to school for broadcast journalism. Like,
right.
So, what I also see emerge is, okay, I get that everybody thinks that they can recognize AI, but like there's some posts I'll probably have to put them up to show people where I've seen another person be accused of it, and then she's like, okay, so which AI checker do you use? When she put everything in Grammarly, 0% AI written. Some other thing, it said it was 60%. So
right,
what I think is happening, dare I call people dumb? You know what? A lot of them are. I'm sorry. That's where we are today. A lot of people are dumb.
Oh yeah.
For instance, like, okay, you know how to write. You've been to college. You also have a different expectation when you do a paper on certain guidelines, how things should go. You're smart enough to understand how things look on your blog, how they would look if you like wrote a news report for someone. There are people that are just like, oh, if I see anybody not just type in shorthand, what the fuck, whatever it is people do, I have to scrutinize that extra hard. And it's just like, so we got that, and the other. I know what part of the AI kind of delusion I've been referring to as well, because I see some of the sales.
Yes. Oh my goodness. And well, like I said, it's not just the, you have Aries, and I know I've mentioned it as the intellect. It's the intelligence. Aries, Mars is intelligence, right? Yeah. And then coming from the insanity side of Saturn in Pisces. So you have the insanity side of Saturn that drags its ass and says, all the lessons I learned from Pisces, now we're going to put them into Aries, which has to be intelligent. While dealing with Uranus in Gemini, which all of this is very mental. So now we're thinking about how people think.
Yeah.
I think that a lot of people haven't really caught up to the idea that we are not in this modern society going out fighting bears and things that matter. I'm using that as like an overall example. It's kind of shallow, but we're not out as a community building houses like the Amish. Okay, save the Amish. There goes an example for all the nuance, but but for the majority of us, who are living in this modern society, our building, our hunting is our thoughts and our words and the contents that we create. This is now what we're doing to fill all that rousing energy. And so as I'm seeing people under this pressure, though, this is Saturn over the intelligence, there is going to be a break of who's essentially stupid and who's essentially intelligent. And we're having a hard time making markers for it, and okay, so there's a lot. See how I said this Gemini thing is running very quickly. I've been thinking of this for so long, for a while, watching it unfold, that to actually speak it out in person and out loud is something different. But I've noticed the same thing that when we went through the COVID epidemic, where people had this giant mistrust for like for experts. We no longer believed it. I think that was such a nail in the coffin. Like, we have to kind of claw ourselves out of the ground to prove that, one, we're not AI, that we are as intelligent as we present ourselves, that our writing is our own, that we do have the intellect to form coherent sentences, or we can switch it up if we so choose to, because we have a wide range of literacy. And, like somebody was saying, a comment I made was all like, oh, this is a serious video and this is an unserious comment. I said, it's actually absurdity satire. I'm just exemplifying, like, there's no idea that there are different ways to communicate that don't always have to be either you're AI or you're not taking this seriously. What you had spoken about before when we were dealing with extremes, which I'm sure is something with your Uranus opposition that was very prevalent, is dealing with Scorpio is extremes. Yeah. Right. None of that has really dissipated. And now it's coming into words, into content, into the things that we create from our minds. Because it doesn't matter if it's art, if it's music, if it's writing, if it's, a paper, if it's something you're publishing for the medical review. I mean, look at what lawyers are doing. I think a few cases had to be redone because they were using AI in the case. So it's everything that we're creating from our minds that is kind of under an assault right now, especially with the stellium in Aries. And now the Uranus in Gemini with Pluto in Aquarius. It's all mental shit. We're all dealing with the intelligence, in the mind, in the brain. Yes, it is exhausting. It's a lot to keep up with. I would also say that Uranus is detachment. So while we went into isolation, we probably have to deal with more detachment or having to detach. But this is such a fine line. So I'm going to share something right now, if you don't mind. I usually don't do this, but I'm going to write about it. But I had a dream. I had a dream tonight while the moon was crossing over my Mercury and Neptune, because now it's in Capricorn, right? Yay! So this is a very interesting.
Like right now. Well, yeah, it will be happening soon, or it happened already.
Return.
Right, yeah.
Okay. So then this makes sense that I would be sharing something, because I put Mercury and Neptune where you have your moon, and that whole stellium. So this is an Uranus dream, which makes sense. I have Uranus and Sagittarius. So I'm going to make it short because I don't want this to be some long drawn out thing. But essentially what it was an attack of nature. So I'm in my home. I have to grab my phone. I'm running because what's happening outside are tornadoes. So we're dealing with storms. We're dealing with the run. This is also a lesson in dream deciphering using astrology. So, so I'm dreaming of storms. So I'm dreaming of Uranus. I'm running and I'm rushing. So I'm dreaming of Sagittarius. So this is where I am in this dream, which would make perfect sense as far as I'm actually dreaming of the opposition, because I'm trying to grab my phone. So I'm Gemini. I'm Uranus in Gemini. So I'm dreaming the opposition. I have to grab my son. I have to get my phone. And I realize that I'm using my Apple Watch to try to locate my phone in the bedroom because it's dark and it's not working right. So I'm like struggling. It takes me like 3 tries. I grab the phone. I grab my kid. I run to the front of the house. Front of the house is now destroyed. I'm in the kitchen. This is the moon now. So now I'm dealing with the transit moon. Yeah. I'm in the kitchen. And I'm huddled with my family. And I'm saying, we have to do something. I think we should go and hide in the basement behind the house. My husband's all like, no, because we're not going to make it. We're going to get sucked up by the tornado. So I'm all like, well, you better figure out what we're going to do, because now the kitchen is moving forward. This side of the house is getting ready to be demolished with this tornado. So my husband says, let's run to the side of the house with the carport. We'll be able to be safe there. Don't know why. We're safe under the carport. So now I'm taking my phone. So here I'm back in Gemini to record the storm. Uranus, the Sagittarius, this giant storm with these tornadoes. As I move the phone this way, I see the cityscape. And there are tornadoes attacking the whole city. There's these lightning storms. But as I zoom in, I realize that these are elementals. They are storms in the form of humans. And they're very angry.
Oh.
They are beating the shit out of this city. And one of them sees me recording. And I'm like, I'm going to die.
I've been made.
Well, because now it's coming towards me. So again, I'm still dealing with communication because I'm trying to upload the video to Facebook so that everyone knows that this isn't a normal storm. These are like elementals destroying a city, and they're going to kill me. So someone needs to know. At this point, my husband says, now we need to run to the back of the house to go to the basement. So we hurry up and run to the back of the house. But now there are other people with us. So more Uranus, groups of people. And we're running Sagittarius to try to seek shelter. So we go to the back, but before we get there, here goes the Taurus aspect of this shit, the Venus aspect, which where's Venus? In Gemini.
Yes.
This is going to be funny. Venus is in Gemini, and I dream of, as we're getting ready to get to the door to get in the basement under the house, the tree starts talking.
A talking tree. Well, damn.
Venus in Gemini, a talking tree. So the tree is... tree. And I'm trying to plead my case. What it is telling me essentially is that it is punishing humans because we have been so disrespectful to Earth. We have not been doing our duty to protect Earth. And so now these elementals are like, fuck you. But I'm pleading, saying, what can we do? There are people who are in control. We can't defeat the people that are in control. They're the ones who have us oppressed. The tree is like, that's no excuse. So I'm all like, after everything that I've done, I say, thank you, God, when I touch the magnolia tree and this willow tree pops up and is basically calling me a liar. This is Gemini. Gemini is the liar.
Wow.
Liar. You have not touched us to say thank you. But the big old knotted tree was all like, what she says is true. This is a very like Avatar fantastical dream. So anyway, the tree is
or someplace, or where are they in the never ending story? You're a bunch of places.
Right. So this tree is telling the willow tree that I'm telling the truth. But during all of this, the elemental storm catches up. And while these trees are arguing about whether or not I'm telling the truth, I use that to tell everybody and my child, go hurry up and run into the basement where you can be safe.
Mm-hmm.
This is where the dream gets dark. The elemental storm sees that, points an axe, and shoots electricity. So I'm dealing with all Uranus now. And now I'm dealing with Pluto and Uranus. I mean, Pluto and Aquarius. Shoots electricity from the axe to kill all the people in the basement, including my child. Now, before I could get all of my children in there, I had saved my daughter. So I'm dealing with this moon in Libra, which is trining the Uranus in Gemini. So I'm thinking I have my daughter saved. I already lost one child. Maybe I could keep the other. The elemental points his electric axe towards my daughter, instantly wipes her out too. The thing is that I'm still crying to the elementals to basically save humanity. I said, you've already killed my children, so now I'm pleading with you in earnest. Now I have nothing to lose, but I'm still asking. And then I wake up, and then it's time for this.
Wow.
Going through dealing with that, I can see that because I take this energy of what I was dreaming for the transits and for my chart, and how I would then take that dream to translate it to the populace. If I were to say, where do I get my information? A lot of them come from dreams, right? Mm-hmm. That people would be dealing with issues of morality and what they need to actually take care of, their impact with all of this power. So you see that I'm dealing with a dream that has to do with Pluto and Aquarius, with Uranus and Gemini, with me feeling helpless in two cases. Now I'm feeling helpless in two cases. I'm feeling helpless because I'm all like, elemental storms are trying to kill me, but I'm feeling helpless because I'm also facing the consequences of something I feel I couldn't do anything about in the first place. We're still going to punish you for not saving or helping the world or doing whatever you need to do for Earth because you let people who are obviously not more dangerous than us still hold you back.
Mm.
So if I were to say one of the things that people would be competing against with Uranus in Gemini, Pluto in Aquarius, now Venus there, this stellium in Aries, is having to deal with the moral weight of not doing anything, which is Saturn in Aries, and not doing anything for things that are changing and happening so quickly, and facing the consequences and the brunt of it's also your fault, even if you have these excuses. Let's see how I have a whole philosophy inside of a strange dream.
Oh, when it speaks, it speaks.
Right. So, and all of that is daunting for me. Driving me crazy.
These are some daunting damn times. How do I say it? I don't like. There's a part of me that feels more open to participation than ever.
Yeah.
However, when I'm actually online, then I'm like, I don't want to participate. So then I'm going, okay, so what the hell were you doing before? I was probably reacting and responding to life as it was coming through.
Right.
Cool. But now it's just like, like, okay, I'll put it to you this way. So I can't take any more, absolutely none of some of the stupid, just ridiculous commentary from men when women bring up serious things.
Mm.
And it's not even like a lot of them are aware that what they're saying is fucktarded. Like they don't, like, you can tell they have no clue, which speaks to a bigger and larger backdrop. And there's so many subsets of it. Like there's always male versus woman discussion, you know, instead of man, but make sure I said woman for all the motherfuckers. Hey, female.
Right.
But
right.
I just kind of feel like we've crossed some kind of threshold that is kind of like a point of no return, particularly when it comes to how the dynamics of things are going to be laid out, right? We're in the middle of war, too. There's that to think about.
Yeah.
Just regular war, but like there's something interesting happening that I didn't foresee like happening in my lifetime, that I think that the Uranus opposition for a lot of my generation of women, and I'm saying this particularly now too, I became male dissenter during my Uranus opposition, and I had no idea that's what was happening. I didn't try to do it. I didn't put an honest, like, good old Girl Scout try into it. It literally happened. And I started seeing it happening with like women my age around me. And I was like, this is crazy. This is weird. Same themes, but yeah, it's been an adventure. Seeing relationship dynamics as we've entered a time frame that is a lot different. First of all, if we talk about number one, the past 14 years before now, when I think of that, when I try to like, I guess you isolate the time frame. I mean, of course, there were a lot of other things going on at the same time, but when I try to think of everything that happened with Neptune home, I'm just like, now I don't see why people don't like Pisces. I kind of get it, like just collectively, and I've seen a lot of different people kind of explain it like this, like it felt like a waking up from a spell. And for me, and then thinking about what house it was transiting and just like all the different things that happens, it seems so on time, like everything else is too.
Right.
I don't know. Everybody weird now. I there's part
I know I'm weird.
No, I like you. I mean, I don't like I like you. I don't like anybody. Like that's what I'm learning. I'm like my nose turns up for like so quickly these days. People like I'm like I can't be Facebook friends with you. Like I don't want to see this shit on my timeline. Like before,
oh my god,
like, now
the timeline.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And you know what? I think that probably makes us weird because we're responding to what we're getting, and there's changes that are occurring in that. Because I know that I'm beginning to be strange, but I'm also trying to take steps to, I don't know, I guess get back into society. I've been really isolated. Like contrary to popular belief, I've spent like the last 10 years being a stay-at-home mom, you know, and then and then here I am now I'm getting ready to graduate college this year. And then I'm going to furry weekend starting Thursday.
Yeah.
I've been trying to get out more with like my mother. I'm trying to, I guess, get back into society, which is very strange for me because I'm also going through the same thing that you're describing, is also the wanting to detach away from how certain avenues of society are behaving. And I hate to say this. No, really, I don't. I don't hate to say this. This is really how I feel. And I'm correct me if I'm wrong, that everyone that's in my sphere, in my whole circle, feels the same way.
I
feel like I am outside of the majority of people, and I'm smarter than everyone.
Yes.
And I don't mean to say that, in fact, I am actually smarter than anyone, because there are things that I still don't know and my wisdom lacks. But I am having a hard time for example, somebody hit me in my inbox. Every now and then I will engage with an inboxer. You know, I usually don't. If you're not like my inner circle or my family, I don't answer DMs. You know, hit me up in the comments. But once in a while, because every now and then I meet a gem. Like there was a young man that I met in my inbox, and now I've been mentoring him for the past few months, and his life has made a drastic change because I use the astrology to help him.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a Libra rising Pisces. Go figure.
God bless him.
Yeah, but you know, he's going through his Saturn square. He's, you know, in his early 30s, and life was just in shambles. And I've been counseling the way he's been thinking about going, you know, navigating life, that has got him from a poor end job, a situation where he was living with other people. It was volatile. There wasn't any money saved. Now, he's Saturn in, if this is his square, yes, then he's Saturn in Capricorn. Okay. Right. To now he's working in a hospital. He just got a new apartment. He's getting ready to get a car. Like all of this through counseling him through his choices and actions and things that matter. So that's just to say that every now and then I like to see what kind of gem I can get out of my DMs. But lately, he was smart. He did something, the way that he came at me was intriguing. So there was a banter that was going back and forth. And then eventually I was like, all right, okay, you're cool. So this one person inboxed me recently, and he's all like, I want to tell you something that I see about you that you might not know. Do you want to hear it? How can I refuse? I could. Curiosity killed the cat, but this is new. It wasn't a hey or a hello. It's a, I know something about, nigga, what you know. Here's going to
No.
His response was, need to send you the text here. His response was, there's something about you. What was it? It was something basically like, there's something about you that doesn't meet the eye. And I responded, I'm bored. You failed instantly. I was waiting for the great big reveal, someone that I can engage with intellectually. And I think that's what it is there's a short circuit with being able to engage with someone intellectually, even if it's for fun. Now, mind you, I love the banter. So I'm dealing with the Sagittarius Uranus and shit. Like, can you banter with me? Can you keep up with my wit? If I make a reference, will you get it? If I make a statement, will you understand the nuance? That is lacking. And it is so frustrating to find someone to talk to. And then as soon as you're talking to them, you realize this is a fucking idiot. Oh my God.
Yeah.
I wasted 3 sentences.
That's pretty much where I am. And it's like, it's more rampant than I initially thought, because it's not limited to just the magic of social media. It's like in real life, it's everywhere. And it's just kind of like, what are we actually doing? I know that a lot of people are definitely scared right now. And number one, that I think separates me from people anywhere. It doesn't matter what's going on in the world. I mean, unless there's zombies like running down the street, we got to get at it. But in general, like, I kind of don't let that impact or really deter me from being able to figure out how to navigate it all.
Right.
Like, no matter what, and having been in really dire situations before. So like people are falling apart and I'm trying to have compassion and I'm like, where art thou? Like my compassion in a lot of ways like took a hit and now it has to kind of like come back a little, but it needs to even itself
I
out.
understand that.
Yeah, I'm getting hit on the angles like fuck and I don't like it. You're getting hit on the moon, like I'm getting hit on the moon, and I just kind of don't want to feel this sort of way towards the large subsect of humanity, but I do want to be like helpful. So the thing that I could think to do is that's the other thing. Jesus, I'm watching.
Let that island come out, gal.
Watching too many videos. Like that's a whole half of my family I don't even fucking know. Let's not even say there. The stuff where they from. But I just want to be helpful, and I keep thinking of different ways to do it because I'm not seeing anything online in our sphere, so to speak, or spheres, areas of expertise that I think like really lives up to great intelligence. I'm seeing people do great work in other areas, like some of the, I hate the word feminist because I feel like it gets dismissed. But people bringing light to issues with women, and that's very important to me. And I'm seeing more younger women like Deja's age, that generation. What are they?
Gen Z.
Edge. Is that Gen Z?
Yeah, that's the Gen Z. Because what? How old is she?
She was born year 2000. She's 25. She'll be 26 this year.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Because my son, she's 5 years older than my son. And they have similar, like when we've discussed like how they think and how they communicate with their group friends. So that would be Gen Z. Because I think millennials ended in 1996. So anything after that was Gen Z.
I do not feel like a millennial, and they keep trying to tell me I am one, and I don't feel like Gen X. I guess I'm a Zennial. But
Zennial, yeah.
They are discussing things we ain't never discussed. Things on their radar that was never really on our radar. So what I'm seeing is instead of younger women refusing or being hesitant to listen to older women, they're listening. They're actually they trying to tell some of the older women some stuff too, and I'm just like, I love to see this. So I've been just like looking at the patterns with that, and I don't know, I'm obsessed. Am I becoming a misandrist? I don't think that I am. I have sons. There's men that I love. I think it's a balancing. It's balancing, because if we're thinking about issues with women, because I've had this conversation with my brother, and I actually had to use our shared experience as Black people to then have him understand, now there's something you don't get about the gender issue when it comes to men and women. So while we relate, I said, it's just like when you're trying to tell your aunts and uncles about the internal racism that they have, me discussing what women are going through and you dismissing it is the same thing. So that kind of like opened his eyes a bit, because he was all like, what? But it's the same thing. It's not the white people of Black people. That's another thing I've learned in the past like 3 years. Like, I'm like, you understand every single thing that we talk about, and Black people struggle for equality. But when I tell you simplistic things like men don't look at women as people and try to explain to you why, like I've had over like the past couple of years, I tend to know people over long time frames. I mean, right. Or whatever, but it's more normal for me to have longer term connections than it is to like know somebody for a season. But I've noticed that when people try to engage me from previous seasons, I'm just like, some of the women, I'm like, ma'am, it is never that serious. I don't do love spells, first of all. Like that is not my expertise. That is not my area. Currently, ma'am, you can talk to me about astrology. You can talk to me about human design. Like you said, to be able to see that young man's difference in a short amount of time that you've been mentoring him, and being able to actually be like, no, like it's actually making a difference. I don't want to do fruitless work. I'm tired of fluff and bullshit. I want to make something of fucking substance. And
I think that I only want to deal with, and I think this is an Uranus thing. This is an Aquarius thing. And the reason why it works so well with him, and I think I mentioned this to you before, the reason why I just don't want to do readings just to do readings, and some people are better equipped for it than I am, because they just want to give information, but I'm not wired that way. You know, like I can see Raw can do that all day long because all he's doing is giving you information, and he's good with his North Node is in Gemini. So I'm going to give you information. But with me, I want to, in the same, I want to make an impact. I want to know that I'm making an impact. And I want to know that if you came to me, that you're not wasting your time or my time. So the reason why it worked for him, and while it works for every other person, and this is also younger people too. So like you said, with the Gen Z, they are more teachable than people think they are. They're just not taking the time to teach them. That's really what it is, because they're looking for guidance. And they are so open. If one, you don't tell them bullshit, you don't give them something shallow, you make sure that it fits for them and it's not something that's cookie cutter. So for him, I made sure that my guidance and my counsel fit for his life, that he was willing to take what I was saying, so I could get to the point where I'm nurturing and cussing you out in the same time. You know, like, why did you do that? This is what you need to do. What did I just tell you about? But he's open to receiving it.
Yeah.
That's the only reason that it works. It works because he wants change. What I don't like is having someone come to me for counsel. I give them the counsel, and then they're coming back telling me, basically, in a sense, fuck what you told me. I did what I wanted to do. Now help me fix this because it got fucked up. Okay, so you want more of my, so really you just go talk to a therapist. That's what
you want more of things people want to listen to.
Right. Go talk, all you want to do is vent. Go talk to a therapist. I want solutions.
Yeah.
I realize that about myself. When I'm even talking to, and I think we even do this for each other, when we're having conversations about what's going on in our life, we're solution pattern people. Yeah. So while we're being empathetic and sympathetic, we're also thinking like, how can I help them fix this problem?
Yes. The NLP training made it worse because you know what it taught me? Every human being has it within them, the solution to fix their problem. They just don't know how to reach it. Your job is to help them. You should have never told a bitch like me that. You should have never said that. Because now it's just like, you know how you can see somebody, I'm like, God damn, I didn't case studied you that quickly. And now I have some correct things that you could do, and people get offended. Like, you can't just
leave that nigga. He ain't no good for you. But we've been together for 10 years. And then now and then they don't even realize too, because I understand this and you know it as well, that there's a honeymoon phase when it comes to relationship. Yeah. And there isn't just one. Nigga, there's 100 of them.
Yes.
And it depends on how those peaks are going. If you have very low peaks and then very high peaks, bitch, you're in a bipolar relationship. That is not the kind of honeymoon you want. And the problem is that they come to seek counsel right at the very end of a tumultuous situation that is on its way to a honeymoon phase, that makes it appear that the counsel you gave doesn't mean shit because now we're good.
Yeah, look, everything is okay.
You'd be like, okay, I you just had me you unloaded your life. So my job as a pattern recognizer is to understand what those patterns look like so I can see a theme across your life. Yeah. And it hasn't changed over the last 10 years because you just unleashed what's happened over the last 10 years. So you telling me that this 167th honeymoon that you've experienced in your volatile relationship means you're good. I can bet on probability and statistics that it's not, but you want to drag me through it. I don't want to be a part of the relationship. I want to help you get out of it.
People be wanting what they want. I'm like, I'm not here to co-sign anybody's bullshit. It's not the type of friend that I am. It's not the kind of person that I am. Thank you for watching this Astro G Ladies Roundtable Talk with Jovi, Saturn, and me, Janét Jones from Spiritual Gangsta Certified. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss any new content. Between the daily astro weather updates, Astro G roundtables, deep dives, live streams, and special conversations with guests like Ra Aku of Cosmophysics, there's always something unfolding over here. Also, make sure you're following the Spiritual Gangsta Certified Facebook page and that you're subscribed to the Substack so that you can stay connected to upcoming classes, workshops, exclusive astrology content, seminars, live stream announcements, and everything else I have coming up. You definitely don't want to miss what's next. Thanks again for being here, and I'll see you in the next one. All links in the description.